So far in the Thanksgiving MCS tournament, I'm seeing really about 3 huge changes, or really things that are getting defined as the meta. The first 2 are things that you'll probably be able to observe yourself, and the last one's actually something that I don't think a lot of people have noticed, and it's a little bit more experimental, but it's pretty cool, and I think it could change kind of how the rest of this year's played out, and I don't think EA likes it. So, first and foremost, audibling around to different formations on offense at a very fast pace. What we're seeing right now is that people are coming out, for example, in gun bunch and audibling to gun tight and quick snapping it. Now, the reason this is really, really good, there's a couple of ways you break this down, and I'm gonna tell you guys right here. So, think about gun bunch. A lot of people are doing it from gun bunch to gun tight, Washington playbook. Gun bunch stock has 3 receivers to the right, halfback to the left, and then an ISO to the left as well, okay? Gun tight stock has doubles right, doubles left, they're compressed, and then you have a halfback to the right side, right? So the halfback flips sides, and then you change the receiver side. When you audible between these so quickly, it is so hard for the defense to be able to, 1, recognize what formation you're audibling to, and then 2, set up a new defense to defend this drastically different formation, right? You're going from a compressed trip set on the right side with the halfback to the left to a compressed double set with a halfback to the right, and that's happening. You're able to snap the ball within 5 seconds, not even, right? So on defense, what formation are they audibling to? I see the audible, now I know what formation they're in, because, you know, they're setting up, they're almost done setting up. Now I try making my adjustments to the new formation, and then boom, the ball's quick snapped already. It is so hard to set up these defenses when they're audibling so fast and snapping. It puts the defense at such a disadvantage in an already huge, disadvantageous Madden game, right? Defense is already so hard. I don't know if I used the correct word there, but defense is hardest right now, okay? So, when you're doing that, that used to be a thing that people would just do. You know, best example would be, before, people would just flip their bunches, right? They go bunch right, bunch left, bunch right, bunch left. They just flip back and forth over and over again. And then we got into where they added personnel groupings in, so they'd go from gun bunch to I form close. And now we're seeing just them audible around different 11 personnel sets, right? Again, you're seeing people from gun bunch to gun tight, to gun bunch open tight end even. You'll see that. You'll see K-Mac, for example, doing something that a lot of people are going to start doing, going in the NFC playbook, going from gun tight to 5 wide. And then we even saw K-Mac go 5 wide to pistol strong slot, right? These are so hard to be able to quickly adjust to with how drastic they are, right? I'm not talking about going from gun bunch to gun bunch strong. I'm talking about going from gun bunch to gun tight to 5 wide, from gun bunch to 5 wide. They're so drastically different, and the snaps are happening so fast. That's the big thing with this, is that when you're audibly formations, you want to get that quick snap off because you don't want the defense to set up adjustments. I don't love that style of Madden. This goes a lot against what I've always wanted to do, and I've always preached to master one formation. I think it makes you a better Madden player. I really do, because once you're able to hone down your reads, be able to identify what the defense is doing, it just makes you better. In fact, back in Madden 20, when I was probably one of the best passers in the world at that time, I wanted the defense to set up, right? I didn't want it to quick snap the ball because I felt like it made the defense, their adjustments would be weird because they'd be in the middle of making adjustments, which a lot of times would leave something open. But I was confident enough in my route combos already to be able to get something open against a regular defense. And then the issue with quick snapping for me always is that you don't know exactly what their adjustments were supposed to look like. So you don't really know what defense you're playing against. You just know you're playing against a defense that's not fully set up. Whereas if you master one formation and honestly let the defense set up some, you're able to identify what they're doing. It is a little bit harder to do it that way, but I think it makes you a better Madden player. And some years in the past, it's been necessary to play like that. Right now, though, the best way to get an advantage on offense is to go so fast, right? Is go fast in audibly formation. I think you need to audible formations at the line of scrimmage. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the use of high balls. I want to break down why they're so good and what we're seeing even in this tournament. A lot of you guys know high balls are really good, but again, we're seeing it pretty much thrown on every single pass right now, a high ball. And to break it down really easy, a lot of people, that's going to be common sense, but I want you guys to really understand this. I don't think, when I watch other people play, not in that top, 100 category that I watch every single day, but when I watch, whether it's Civil GG members, whether it's just, kind of random Twitch streamers, random YouTube videos, whatever, people aren't highballing. Look, right now on offense, you can have, who are the best receivers? Let's say Harold Carmichael, Calvin Johnson, that 6'7" tight end dude, that white dude, and let's go Randy Moss. Let's just say Randy Moss. I can't remember if he has a good card right now, but you get the idea. Those are all 6'5" and above, 6'4" and above. right? Defense can't keep up. At halfback, you can even have 6'3" Dickerson. You have a huge height advantage. I am 5'8". If there's I have a 6-foot friend sometime, who we used to play football with. His name was Bryce. And the fact of the matter is, I would play coverage sometimes, and Bryce would be a wide receiver, and the ball would get thrown up. And guess what? Bryce had 4 inches on me. Now, Bryce could also jump significantly higher than I could, but he didn't have to jump sometimes. He just, boom, right? Just reach up. And so highballing puts the ball, the football in a spot where the DBs can't make a play on it. All right, so that's point number 1 of why you need a highball. Point number 2 that you need to consider is the fact that the animations are, 1, don't activate the way they should, or DBs don't animate on wide receivers on catch animations a lot. So the wide receiver is basically catching it uncontested. And then 2, a lot of the animations, when they do animate on the wide receiver and trigger a 2-man animation, are in favor of the wide receiver who's taller. And then point number 3, this is a cool one, is that there's no punishment for that ball getting tipped up and falling, right? Tip drills and pick artists will pick it off, but if they don't have a tip drill or a pick artist, you're not going to pick the ball off majority of the time. So what can happen is, throw it up, oops, dropped it, everyone else is dropping it too. Who cares, right? This was not an issue at the beginning of the year, but I believe they tuned that issue. I believe they made it an issue because we were complaining about D-line picks so much. EA, if you're listening, all you need to do is just make D-linemen not pick the ball. Anybody in a blitz angle literally have 0 catching, and have anybody in coverage have good catching, or their normal rated catching, and they'll catch the pick the way they should, right? So again, you have the combination of putting the ball in a spot where only your receiver can get his hands on it first. You have the combination of the DBs probably won't even animate on you correctly, and if everything fails and the ball gets tipped up, probably won't get picked off anyways. All right, this gets so many highballing gets so many routes open that aren't open without highballing. It is the fact of the matter. You need to be highballing more often and then add catching. All right, you need to be doing that way more often. I'm telling you. Don't care if you already know. You need to be doing it more than you are right now. You are highballing almost everything. All right. Now the next thing I want to talk about is the kind of weird experimental thing. A lot of people have went back to classic passing. Now, just in this tournament alone, Rage, Wesley, and Gucci are all back in classic passing. Henry, arguably the best Madden player in the world, even though he's not in this tournament, is also on classic passing. Now, what I've been told, I haven't got a chance to test this a ton like I'd like to, but what I've been told with this, and the reason why, is because of the fact that the ball, when you pass lead with only the left stick, the ball goes to the same place regardless. And what I mean by that is it goes to the same place regardless of passing ability, right? So let's think about this. Set feet lead increases ball velocity. So let's say I'm pass leading it to a streak, and I know that that ball is going to go 3 yards past the streak to where he's running to, right? If I don't have a velocity chem, my phone just fell. If I don't have a velocity chem, the ball is going to get thrown. It's gonna sit in the air longer. My receiver's gonna get to where it's going and have to slow down or just stop and catch it. That makes sense? But if the ball is traveling there faster, right, going to the same spot on the field but traveling faster, the receiver will catch it in stride a little bit better. Now, I don't think this is as good as freeform passing still with some of the pass leads, but what I'll tell you is that you can get a lot of the same pass leads with Classic that you could with freeform, and you eliminate a lot of the overthrows that came with freeform, and that was such a nuisance. Now, these overthrows were typically your fault. Not always. Sometimes they just hit you and it just fall, but typically they were your fault, right? That's just a fact of the matter. And this eliminates them pretty much. So let's think about what I've said now. You can eliminate the overthrows, right? And you can eliminate picks with highballing. And it's, wait a second, you're eliminating a lot of the self-inflicted mistakes that Madden players make. That's really good. That's what you need to be doing. That's what biggest reason people lose Madden games is not because their opponent beats them, but because they beat themselves. I can look back, and it's no disrespect to opponents, but I can look back at so many of my losses and be like, why did I do that? I chose not to win that game. My actions chose not to win that game. And again, a lot of times, it can be forced by the opponent, but I see a lot of people lose games themselves, not losing to their opponent. Not letting somebody else beat them, but they beat themselves, all right? It's a weird spot in Madden. Defense is still really hard in this. Pretty much every stop that we're seeing on defense is either just the most self-inflicted offensive turnover ever, or just fluke is the fact of the matter. I want to see things change. I am looking every day, tirelessly, to find defense, and there is just not much out there except for fluky stuff that is really kind of more on the, I don't like it. I think it's gonna get changed, I think, in a patch in the upcoming, month or so. I'm guessing the next patch is, because we're in November now. But we'll see, boys. All right, new to the channel, subscribe. See ya. Hey, you made it to the end of the video, meaning that you probably enjoyed it. If you did, check out this one right here. You're gonna like it even more. Or consider going in the description and check out my website, civil.gg. Learn how I play the game of John Madden Football. All right, see you in the next one.